Brady,
And I'm Evan.
and Sports Talk 2010. So today we're going to be covering the NFL draft, some of the surprises, some of the things we expected, and some of the reasons why we think people drafted who they did.
Today we'll start off with Sam Bradford, the number one overall pick, going to the St. Louis Rams. The Rams lack in very many places with the 1-15 season. Sam Bradford will bring a great QB there. I think that they do need to work on their wide receiver spot, and I think they'll be putting up some big numbers on the offensive side.
Coming in at number 2 was Sue. He went to the Detroit Lions, and that is no surprise. Mel Kiper Jr. said that he was the top person in this year's draft class, right in front of Gerald McCoy, the other defensive tackle. But Kiper just thought, and I also agree, he's a little bit more athletic, a little bit stronger, and so that's why the Lions picked him up. And he's going to bring some more force to that defensive line that has been struggling. The only thing is that the Packers drafted with their 23rd overall pick Bulaga, who is going to be an offensive lineman. They said they could play guard or tackle. And so he's going to be learning under Tauscher and Clifton. So he should be pretty good, which might actually negate Sue's ability to penetrate the line.
Tauscher had a very poor season coming off of an injury. I don't think he'll be much of a teacher, but hey, he's got experience under his belt, teaching a few things.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on. Next, Evan, do you have anything else to talk about, like the number 9 overall pick, C.J. Spiller?
Yeah, C.J. Spiller, he's going to the Bills. I like him. Very explosive. He's got good stiff arm, good spin move. 5.6 yards per carry on average. That's extremely good. 3 yards a carry is good, but 5.5, that's excellent. I like him.
Okay, moving on now. We're going to be talking about the NFC North. It's looking to be a very, very tight race. The Packers, the Vikings, and the Bears are going to be really duking it out. Well, the Lions aren't exactly going to be as much contenders.
Yeah, the Lions aren't in there.
Even with the pickup of Sue, I don't think it's going to be enough to completely overhaul their team. They need a complete team overhaul if they want to have a successful season. So it's looking like if Brett Favre comes back, which is looking like he will, and he has a good season, the Vikings will once again be a huge threat. And then moving on, do you want to talk about the Bears?
The Bears, I like them with Julius Pepper. I think that Jay Cutler will have a good season. He had 19 receptions last year, but he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. I think he'll bounce back from that, have a great season. They got new running backs, some new wide receivers. I like them. I think they'll be scoring a lot of points. Not in conference play, but the NFC North has an extremely strong defense all the way around. In conference play, I think will be very low points, maybe 14-7 the final score, but outside of conference, I think they'll be scoring a lot. It'll be like probably 35-14 or 35-7 final scores.
Mm-hmm. You know, the Bears have a lot of potential. It all depends on whether or not they can all pull it together. Then moving on, we have the Green Bay Packers, which are looking out to be a much better team than last year, and they even were very successful last year.
Yeah, I like the Packers.
They had a very good statistical season with Aaron Rodgers. He put up some great stats, and it's just, I don't know, if he could spend a little bit less time in the pocket, I'm thinking that he'll get sacked less, get more yards, and the Packers could very well be a big-time playoff contender.
Yeah, Packers second overall in defense last year. I think they'll move up to first because they're just looking strong. I think that Clay Matthews will have a great year. His rookie year, he did extremely well. Experience under his belt, he'll have a great year.
Our next topic of discussion is Tim Tebow. He was one of the biggest surprises on the Denver Broncos who drafted him. They already have a great quarterback in Kyle Orton. And so, Evan, what do you think about that?
I think that Tim Tebow is a great pickup. He'll bring character to the locker room. He won the Heisman Trophy, very good. I think that he'll be good in 4 or 5 years. It'll take time to build up. Kyle Orton looking good last year. I think that he'll be burnt out in a few years, arm-wise, and he just won't be having good seasons. So they'll have a great quarterback, Tim Tebow, to back him up.
Tim Tebow looks like the kind of player that I don't think could come out the first year or two and be able to start. I see him, he's very athletic. He could maybe even play running back if they needed him to for some odd reason.
Yeah.
But he would definitely make a great Wildcat quarterback. So if they're looking to run a Wildcat offense, he would be a great pick for that.
Yeah, or just have Kyle Orton in there, have him at the halfback, and Wildcat it right to him and run it for 5-6 yards.
Mm-hmm. They definitely have a lot of potential with him. I mean, in the future, he'd definitely be a starting quarterback, but but at the point that Tim Tebow is at right now, I don't think that he quite has the ability to start yet. If a Kyle Orton injury were to somehow happen, I think that they'd probably have to pick up somebody from free agency rather than count on Tim Tebow to lead their team.
Yeah, Tim Tebow's too young. Maybe if an injury happens in 3, 4, 5 years, I think Tim Tebow can step in. He'll know the offense pretty well. He'll probably just run it most of the time, but I still think he's pretty good.
He's got a lot of mobility, but he has the ability to change it up and surprise people every time.
Yeah. Our next topic is Dan LeVar. I like him. He went to Central Michigan, had over 4,000 passing yards his senior season. He was in a small conference, which did allow him to have big numbers, but I like him. He's a Chicago native, and surprisingly, he went to Chicago. So nice at-home person. I think that he'll do good in his hometown. He's grown up loving the Bears. I like him. He'll be a threat in the NFC North.
I think that in the future he will definitely be a bigger name in the NFL. I think that people come to know who he is.
Yeah.
He'll establish himself pretty well. And he'll have a lot of fan support being the hometown boy. They're going to be.
Then on to Jimmy Clausen. Top 10 pick, down to the second round. What do you think happened there, Brady?
Well, I was really surprised. I was watching the first day, which, by the way, I didn't really like the new setup this year of having different days.
Yeah,
different
3 days.
But I was watching the first day, and I kept on waiting for Jimmy Clausen's name to be called, but it never was.
Yeah.
So I was really shocked there. I was expecting him to go between 12th and 16th, right around there.
Yeah, somewhere up there.
I definitely did not see him as a second-round pick. I think that he was definitely one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class by far.
I think that might have hurt him was Notre Dame having a pretty poor season, firing their head coach. I think that may have affected him. He's still a good quarterback. I'm surprised that he went that late, but that might be part of the reason.
But then it's also they were pretty lucky to pick him up. He was definitely a second-round steal. And, they didn't have a first-round pick. So then being able to get him in the second round definitely helped him out a ton.
Yeah.
And this has been all from Sports Talk 2010. I'm Brady.
And I'm Evan.
And if you want any ideas for us to talk about in our next show, leave it in the comment section below.
Have you seen the blind man?